This one thing makes people quit their journey into tech more than anything else. And it wasn't able to make me quit, but it pushed me to the brink of depression. And I'm going to tell you what that is and exactly how to overcome that in this video right now. So, first of all, what is it that makes people quit tech? Or their journey into tech, their journey into IT, their journey into penetration testing. People say that they want to learn AI, they want to learn machine learning, they want to learn algorithms and encryption. People say they want to do all these things, but somehow they never make it from where they are to breaking in. At the end of the day, the same actions apply to getting into the industry, right? Wherever you're trying to get into tech, which is developing skills that are needed and hard to be replaced, building a portfolio that proves that you actually have those skills, and applying to jobs, landing interviews, and then securing that offer letter for a nice salary. So if the actions are typically the same, right? Like, obviously you might say, well, you can network, or, if you like have the best certification, they're gonna hire you. Listen, those are like all nuanced ways of getting in the industry. We're talking about like the bare bones, meat and potatoes of what actually matters. Skills, and then proving you have those skills. So those actions are the same. So if they're the same, why doesn't everybody follow exactly that path and do exactly what they need to do? And I have to tell you, it's because of this main reason right here, and that is emotional management. If you cannot manage your emotions, they will throw you off of the boat. Your journey into whatever field you want to be. You want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be a marine biologist, you want to be a city planner, you want to be an architect. It doesn't matter what career that you want to be. If you don't know how to manage your emotions, they will throw you off of the boat. Because exactly, it's an emotional roller coaster. One moment you're high, you're excited. Man, when I get into tech, I'm gonna be making $180,000 a year, blah, 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 blah. And then the next day you start looking at job boards and looking at those job descriptions, and your emotions go like this, because you start saying, oh, they want me to have a degree. Man, they want me to know how to freaking code and assembly and C++ since 1997. And your emotions are going down. And then the next day you come across a video like mine, and you're like, man, I don't have any degree, I don't have any prior experience. I was able to do it, and you start believing in yourself, like, yeah, I can do this. And then you go to sign up for a course that's supposed to help you, and then they're like, oh, it's $5,000, and then your emotions are going downhill again. And this is up and down emotional roller coaster. And if you don't have proper expectations, that roller coaster will throw you off the ride, and you'll quit violently. Basically, you'll just stop taking action. You'll stop doing what's necessary, which is either studying or applying. So how do you overcome that? The first thing you have to do is manage your expectations. The biggest source of disappointment is mismanaged expectations. If you have an expectation that you are going to get one specific result within 30 days from now, when that result doesn't happen, you're going to be totally disappointed. And that disappointment might throw you off the boat. But if you have a better expectation of like, they might say, oh, I'm going to get this result in 30 days, but you know what? Let me triple that. Maybe it'll happen in 90 days. You've managed your expectation. And if it doesn't happen in 30 days, you're not disappointed. See, a lot of you, including me, have some ridiculous freaking expectations on what's going to happen with our tech career. I remember I got started 2024, January. I'm thinking I'm going to be in cybersecurity by summer. That was so stupid for me to think that. But I literally had this expectation that, yeah, I'm going to study hard, get this certification, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to start applying to jobs, and I'm going to get an internship with this like company that's like at the World Trade Center in cybersecurity as a SOC analyst. I remember I went to an IC Squared networking event, and I told this guy that I'm just starting, and he asked me, "Oh, what is your goal?" I was like, "Oh, to be a SOC analyst." He was like, That's a great goal." I was like, "Yeah, like I'm doing this, blah blah blah." And he's like, "Oh, like when do you think you'll be a SOC analyst?" I was like, "By summer." Duh. He looked at me like this kid doesn't get it yet. And guess what? I didn't become a SOC analyst by summer. In fact, I realized how much I didn't know by the end of that first course. I learned a lot. I built a foundation, but the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know. So what am I saying here? If your expectations are mismanaged, that disappointment will blow you out of the water. You can't have a 3-month plan for breaking into tech. It has to be minimum 3 years. 3 years from now, your life will be totally different than it is today, not 3 months from now. And if you take action based off of that premise, it doesn't matter what happens. Rejection letter, you can't afford a course, you don't understand what you're learning, you know, people like tell you that what you're doing is stupid or like none of that stuff matters because this is what I'm doing for 3 years from now. Now, the next solution to manage your emotions is to make sure you're prepared for it. Now, what do I mean? It doesn't matter how much, and I know this might seem like basically going against what I just said, but it doesn't matter how much you prepared, you will feel frustrated, anger, jealousy, uh bitterness, jaded is going to come because it is a very tough market right now. It is very competitive, and applying to jobs and like I remember I applied to 600 jobs, right? I remember I would apply for a job on Tuesday at 2:30 p.m. And exactly 1 week from then, the next Tuesday at 2:30 p.m., I would get a rejection letter. And it would all come at the same time because I would do a quick apply on LinkedIn. I'd be like, apply, 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 apply. And then next week I would get reject, 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 reject. And that sucked so much. And you start to feel jaded. And then you start to listen to those YouTube videos where people talking about how the market is terrible and how they're going to start lying on their resume. And then you're going to start feeling like you're going to buy into that. All I got to say is just mentally prepare yourself that that will happen. And when it does happen, you're like, you know what? I knew this was going to happen. And then you keep taking the proper action. It's a game changer. If you really pick up what I'm putting down, you're not going to get blown out of the water. It's not a question of if you can get into tech, only when. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter what country you live in. Ask yourself right now, are you listening to this conversation on technology? If you're listening to it on technology, that means there's tech in your country. That means there's somebody managing and engineering and developing that technology where you are in your country. There's opportunities. Are you hungry enough to look for them, capitalize on them, show up and be the person that they're looking for? Because I hear all the time from people who hire, like finding somebody who has like the technical skills is one thing, but then finding somebody who has the passion, the drive, the self-initiative is totally something else. And they'd be willing to take a chance on somebody like that than somebody who's like a genius, but they're lazy and they don't actually do what they say they're going to do when they say they're going to do it. So just to recap, right? The reason why I made this video is because it's very important to understand managing your expectations. Managing your expectations, especially if you're not taking the right actions. See, I was expecting to get a job in cybersecurity in 6 months. That is totally unrealistic. But if I had a goal of getting an IT position or a help desk position in 6 months, that's totally realistic, especially if I had focused on building a portfolio, which I didn't do. I actually spent most of the time just doing the Google cybersecurity course. And although that has a lot of labs, I didn't focus on repeatedly doing those labs over and over and over again to develop skills and then using those labs to put in a portfolio that I can showcase when I started applying to jobs. So I wasn't taking effective action. Therefore, I shouldn't have expected a result based on what I was doing. But if I had taken a more effective route, which is maybe instead of trying to get into cybersecurity first, but get into IT and then focus on my projects that are relevant to what I would already be doing if I was in IT or help desk positions, I would have had a better result. And thankfully, over the course of my journey, I made that transition to get into IT instead of focusing solely on cybersecurity. And that's how I was able to land my first job here in tech. And I'm telling you, it's about taking effective action and making sure you're managing your emotions as you're going through the journey. Because even when I was interviewing for this job, right, it was 3 rounds. I had one assignment. One of the rounds was a platform assessment. I don't know if they're gonna call me. I don't know what's going on. All I know is like I'm just gonna put my best foot forward and that's it. It's so easy to let doubt come in and throw me off my game. But all I knew was like whatever they threw at me, I was gonna make sure that I was prepared for it. So if you appreciated this video, make sure you leave a like. That's going to support the channel. My name is Evan Yearwood. Go ahead and subscribe. I am a technical support specialist. My goal is to get into cybersecurity, and I'm documenting that journey along the way. See you in the next video. Peace. Don't forget to subscribe.